morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. My name is Yolanda Sheffa, and I'm here with Janice Griffin, and we are from Law New York, also known as Legal Assistance of Western New York. And so our office is a nonprofit, low-income office that, let me start over. We're a legal office, nonprofit legal office that helps low-income clients. All of our services are free. And today we're going to go over the SNAP process, what SNAP is, and the SNAP application process. And also, at the end, we'll do all of our questions. And I'd like to introduce Janice Griffin, our NOWOP coordinator at Law New York in Monroe County.
Good morning, everyone. If you're ready to begin, I will start. I have been with Law New York approximately 3 years. This is a new role for me, and I have been in this role approximately about 4 months now. So please bear with me, and we will start. Okay, one moment. The Nutrition Outreach and Education Program.
We can't see it yet. It's not quite shared.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, shoot.
You can do it.
Oh, I'm gonna try.
No, just 3 minutes ago I saw it, so I know it can work.
Yolanda?
I'm here.
I don't know what I've done. Sorry.
So just remember to hit share screen, which is the green button at the bottom. And then you're gonna just open up the PowerPoint just like before.
I don't see anything.
Did you share your screen? Did you hit the share screen?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, it's at the bottom.
The bottom of the Zoom call. So go back to the Zoom call if you're not on it. Or if you can see everybody.
Yeah.
Right. A minute.
Are you on the page where you can see everyone's faces?
No.
Okay, go back to the Zoom call where you can see all of our faces.
So minimize all of your other screens so you can see this screen. It might be hidden.
I think it is. That's why I can't see it. Okay.
Did you minimize other screens yet?
I see the whole presentation, but hold on. I'm trying to get out of it.
Don't close it all the way. Don't close the presentation. Just go back to the Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Just go back to your email. Go back to your email and then open up the Zoom that way. So that way it'll pop up.
It's okay. We roll with technical difficulties.
Right.
.org. My direct line is 585-450-3686. Or you can call the intake office, which is 585-325-2520. How can NOWOPS help you? We can tell you if you're eligible for SNAP, calculate a budget to give you an estimate of your SNAP benefits, help you understand and prepare documents you need to apply for SNAP, help you complete the application and submit it to DHS for you, give you information on how to use your EBT card, help you if you have difficulties applying for SNAP, review the amount of your SNAP benefits you receive if you feel DSS has made an error, give you referrals to other programs that might benefit you and you are interested in, and help you to recertify for SNAP.
Does anybody need clarification around any of these different ways that the program can help? You know, it was a lot, so. Okay, there's a chat.
Angie asked, what is the basic working definition of SNAP? It is Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, formerly known as food stamps. That is correct.
Mhm. Awesome. Cool. Well, you guys know, stop us anytime you need. Oh,
That is our next slide.
perfect.
So what is SNAP? Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as food stamps. What are some benefits of SNAP? FoodLink also has a mobile food market. SNAP provides benefits that can be used that can be used at large grocery stores and many small grocery stores, bodegas, to purchase food and beverages. SNAP could be used at many farmers market, like your the Rochester Public Market. SNAP can be used to buy plant seeds and grow vegetables as well. A lot of people didn't know that as well. SNAP can help you when you are retired and on a fixed income and having a hard time to make ends meet, skipping meals to afford college costs, living with a disability and cannot afford enough food for a month, working a full or part-time job and are struggling to afford enough food for your family, a household in need of more and better nutrition. Now, since they have the EBT card as opposed to the booklet, it's much easier to use your SNAP benefits at grocery stores. If you remember, I don't know if some of you are old enough to remember, when the SNAP benefits, SNAP food stamps were in the booklet form, you felt a little bit intimidated because you're standing in line and you're counting out your stamp amounts and stuff. So with this, the EBT card, it makes it it's very convenient and much easier. So how SNAP works. Benefits are added to your EBT or CBIC card, electronic benefit transfer, or common benefit ID card. Same card could be used for other benefits like Medicaid.
These cards probably look familiar if you guys have SNAP.
Who is eligible for SNAP? Eligibility and benefit amounts for SNAP are SNAP vary based on household size, income, expenses, and other factors. So this gives you a wide range of different individuals that obtain SNAP benefits. Who is eligible for SNAP? SNAP has special eligibility rules for households that contain a senior or disabled member, which may increase their monthly benefit. a lot of times seniors, they have this stigma that they don't qualify for SNAP. Or sometimes individuals feel as though they, a senior who owns a home, they may feel as though that they don't qualify. These are just myths, but the majority of them, they do. SNAP eligibility. Many factors can affect eligibility, such as payment for childcare or adult daycare, payment for child support, medical deductions after the first $35 per month. These are for 60 these are for individuals that are 60 years of age and older or disabled, and shelter costs.
So if people have these costs alongside needing money for food, this can make the amount of money that people receive from SNAP, they can make it more money or less money.
Basically, it states that, you know, what is going out of the, what are your expenses coming out of pocket, such as daycare, such as adult daycare, payment for child support, medical deductions after the first $35. So if you have prescriptions, you know, your copay, and it's more than 35.
So these are some of the factors that we use when we do budgeting for SNAP. So when people do their SNAP budgeting, a lot of the expenses that they think they can use, we cannot use. There's only certain expenses that count towards SNAP budgeting. And these are some of those expenses. So for a household that pays for internet, phone, car insurance, those expenses do not count at all for budgeting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's what we mean by SNAP eligibility. Only certain expenses will count towards budgeting. And those expenses happen to be dependent costs, so childcare, daycare for adults, child support payments, medical deductions only for seniors or disabled people, and shelter expenses. And shelter expenses would be your mortgage, your rent, homeowners insurance, if you pay for garbage disposal, utilities and things like that. That's the only thing that can be used for budgeting.
Okay, gotcha. So those other factors you were talking about, like internet and I forget the other ones you mentioned, those can't be factored into their expenses.
No, like we know that those are basic expenses that most people have, but they don't count for budgeting.
Okay, that makes sense. Is there any confusion around that in any of your classrooms? Or does anyone have an expense they would have a question about, maybe? Give it a few seconds just so you can make sure. Okay, well, definitely speak up and we can always go back to a slide if you need us to.
SNAP eligibility. Other factors include income, earned, unearned, exempt, not counted for SNAP purposes, example, HEAP or child tax credit, or no income, age and/or disability, non-citizens, special rules, student status, special rules for college and career and technical and education students, and more.
Where would unemployment fall in this? Income, I'm guessing?
Yes,
That would be unearned
unearned.
income.
Oh, okay.
Changes to SNAP benefits, expanded eligibility for students. As of October 2020, New York State expanded eligibility to students in qualified career and technical education programs. Individuals attending a SUNY, community college, or technology college and enrolled in at least half-time in a qualified program must meet the criteria to be considered an eligible student for SNAP. This is a permanent change.
That's cool. Neat change.
These are the income guidelines to obtain SNAP, and they are effective October 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2022.
So the 200% are for households that have elderly or disabled members. 150% is if there's at least one person in the household working. 130% would be for folks who have unearned income or no income. And so how you read the chart is you're just going to go to the family size and then go to whichever column applies to your household. So family size, then you're going to go to 200%, 150%, or 130. And that's how you determine if you appear income eligible.
Okay, so what's each percent again?
So 200% is if there's an elderly or disabled member of the household, or if the household has to pay dependent care costs, which would be daycare or an adult daycare program.
Okay,
So as long as one person in the household falls into one of those categories, that would be the percentage, 200%.
okay,
150% is if at least one person has wages, earned income. 130% would be houses that have no income or unearned income. So if someone is receiving unemployment income or they're not working, it would
Okay.
be 130%.
and then 165, that's on there, and 100.
So those two, so 165 is for a column that doesn't apply to most of the people that we serve. And this is for households that have a disabled member who's otherwise independent, but depends on a friend or family to take care of them.
Okay,
And so that percent or that budgeting is used for that type of a situation. And
okay,
then 100% it's just up there.
okay,
So the columns that we mostly deal with, probably 99% of the clients, is 200, 150, and 130.
okay, gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay. And then 150 you said can be one person working or two people, or is it always just one person?
No, so just when you do these guidelines, just remember at least one person in the household has to apply to.
Okay,
So if you have a household of 10 that are applying, at least
Yes.
one person has to be eligible in one of those percentages.
okay,
So what we tell
Oh.
people is when you look at this card, if you think your household is below that, then give us a call. If you think it's pretty close, give us a call. But if it's over, probably not going to be eligible.
okay. And then, so pretend I go down to my family is the size of 5 and
Okay.
there's one person working. So that household, if they make under $3,880, then they qualify for SNAP?
They may be
May
eligible.
qualify.
Yeah, they may, because there's still other factors that we have to use to determine eligibility.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Mhm.
These are the income
Yeah.
guidelines.
And
I'm
so
sorry, I
every-
didn't even see on the side you had listed. I'm
No,
like,
it's okay. No, it's okay. So every year, these income guidelines, they increase, they slightly increase. So if
Okay.
someone's not eligible right now, we always say check back every year in October and in the fall, and
yeah,
we will budget you. And if there's any changes to your income, always check with us too.
okay. Gotcha, understandable. Any questions around this? I know it's probably it might be confusing to read if you've never seen it before. That's totally okay, because clearly I was confused as well. All right.
How to apply. First, we would complete an application. And your application would look like this, if you can see.
Is it most typical for people to apply, do an online application or fill it out?
No,
a
the
hard
majority of
copy?
the majority of the clients, they think sometimes it could be a little bit hard. So that's where I come in as a NOAA, and I assist them with the application. Because of COVID, I do all the interviews over the phone. I am unable to sign the application on behalf of the client, so I mail them the application. I tell them where to sign because I've highlighted the areas in which they need to sign. If there's information on the application that they didn't have, say for instance, they don't know their RG&E account number, I would highlight that section. And once they
Okay.
receive the application, they would just plug that in.
Okay,
Or if they have children in the household and when I, done the interview with the client, they don't have the Social Security cards on hand with them, I would just highlight that as well. And so they would just, plug that information in.
okay.
So I think, Hannah, your question was, is the application the only way to apply? And you can apply
Yeah.
online.
Okay.
It's a little
Gotcha.
trickier. Like Janice and I, we don't prefer the application online because you have to have a username and password to
Okay.
log in. You also have to work through the application pretty quickly because if you don't, it'll time you out. And you
Oh.
also can't leave a lot of things blank. And that's why the paper application is easier to use.
Yeah, so you guys help out with that, people like you, and I'm sure there's more than just you guys.
Mhm.
But it's kind of like a back and forth of like, oh, you're missing these. This is where you can, like, this is exactly what we need. Just, find this. And then it seems like it's easier to complete when you're working with somebody.
Oh, yeah. So Janice is just gonna continue with the application process, but she'll go through with the documentation and all that too.
Okay, sounds good.
So once you complete the application, I do include a SNAP documentation checklist just for the clients to, get a general idea of some things that they're going to need to submit with their application that I have provided to them. I also give the client a self-addressed stamped envelope for their convenience to mail it back to DHS. So once they have submitted the application, DHS is going to call them for an intake interview over the phone. So they have the interview and then they still need some required documentation. So DHS is going to give them 10 days to submit all this documentation in. Once
Okay.
all the documentation is in, DHS has 30 days to review the client's application. And at that point, they're waiting for a decision as to whether or not they were approved or denied and why they were denied as well.
Okay. What's the timeline for this approximately from when somebody starts an application to when they have a final decision?
Technically, it all depends on the client and whether or not they turn in all the documentation in a timely manner, because basically I have met with you. We've had the interview, you had 10 days to submit more documentation. Once you've submitted the documentation, then it is 30 days after that.
Okay, so
So
maybe
sometimes it could be roughly about 45 days.
okay.
So
like a
the
month and a half.
entire process is, the New York State regulations are 30 days. The entire process is 30 days. The client can delay the process if they don't turn their documentation in. But from
Okay.
the time the application is sent in until a decision is made, it should be 30 days.
Okay. Awesome.
Monthly SNAP benefits. On your left are the maximum allotment. These are the new allotments, the maximum allotment. As you see, a household size of 1. Prior, they used to receive a maximum allotment of 204. Now the maximum allotment is 250.
And this is like the maximum. So maybe a household of 3 wouldn't necessarily receive 658, they could receive less.
Yes,
Okay.
correct. Helpful tips. Read your notice. Review your notice for incorrect information. Keep proof of submitting your documentation. Sign the application. Don't forget the 2 spots on the application for you to sign. Leave it blank if you are unsure of the information. Be honest. You don't want to commit fraud. Never share your PIN number unless you notify DHS of a family member that may be using your card in case you're unable to, go to the store. Answer the phone on the day of your interview. It may be a number that you're unfamiliar with. Answer the phone. Report household changes in a timely manner. Use the New York Doc Submit app on your phone. And benefits expire 365 days after they are issued. A lot of clients don't realize they have 365 days in order to use their SNAP. They don't necessarily have to spend all their SNAP benefits all in 1 month.
So I'm just going to go back through this a little bit. So the read your notice, this is important because there are lots of dates where you have to make sure that you meet your deadline. So you only have 10 days to submit your documentation. If you need more time, you need to let the NOAPS know so that we can request an extension to turn in your documentation. If you need help submitting your documentation, DHS has a duty to assist. So if someone's born in Monroe County, they can't pull up their driver's license, their birth certificate. Those are some ways that DHS can help you. Make sure you review your notice because DHS makes mistakes. And so that could be one reason why your application was denied, because the information was recorded incorrectly. Make sure you sign the application in 2 spots. There's 2 places to sign it. If they're not both signed, the application won't be processed. If you don't know something, just leave it blank, because if you put bad information in there, it could be considered fraud. Always be honest with the information because they have ways of checking. Never share your PIN number, and that's so that no one else can use your card. If you want someone in your family or a friend to use your card, all you have to do is put that on the application. There is a place for someone to sign it, and that gives you permission to let them use the card. Report household changes. And New York Doc Submit, I don't know if anyone's heard of this, but this is a new app where you can just take pictures of your documentation and upload it that way without having to actually submit the documentation. If that helps.
Definitely. Thank you. So also the last thing, you just have to reapply basically annually every year.
You have to recertify.
Yeah.
Every time they'll send you the documents that let you know, or a notice that says you have to recertify and what's needed. And then so throughout the process, after you are approved and you're now a recipient, you're no longer an applicant, they have different notices that you have to submit to stay compliant. One is to recertify, and one is called the change report form and a periodic report form. And so DHS will determine when you get those notices, and you have a certain amount of time to turn those back in. And if you don't, your case closes and you got to start all over again.
Gotcha. Okay, so that seems pretty important.
Reporting changes in your household income. That's basically what we just discussed. So feel free to read over those.
So the most important part about this is different households have different reporting requirements, and you don't have to remember this information. You don't have to guess when your time's due. DHS will always send you a notice 30 days before the documentation is due, depending on how you report. So if it's a recert, you get it 30 days before. And And then they will also put in your notice what your reporting rules are. So just depends on the household. And these rules, we don't want to get into them too much because it depends on the household. So
Okay,
things change per household.
okay. That makes sense.
Reporting changes in your house, in your household income continued. Failures to report income when it is required may result in an overpayment. Just ask if you're not sure. Keep documentation of when you submit income changes. It is a defense against fraud. Questions?
Is there any like problems if anyone has SNAP, like with actually using the card and using benefits? I know, I just didn't know if there was anything on that part of SNAP that wasn't addressed that people need help with. Or just,
I have, Anna,
yeah,
hi, I have a question. For SNAP application, everything is good, but how about people want to apply for emergency SNAP? Is that the same process, or are you guys going to help them for emergency SNAP?
Yes. Yes, I assist individuals with, who need emergency SNAP as well. There's a certain criteria for that. I do put on the application expedited, and they notify them. They will give them SNAP benefits if they are approved for expedited. But if they need further further documentation, they will have to submit that as well.
Okay,
But they do for the most part approve them for expedited SNAP benefits, but they have to provide additional documentation for ongoing.
okay. So usually take about how many days, a day or 2 days to get the emergency SNAP
No, it takes about roughly 10 days, if I am correct,
or
Yolanda.
emergency?
Yes,
So if you turn in all of your documentation, it can be processed in 5 business days.
Okay. Because
So-
at the old day, we can get it right away the same day.
It depends. If you go in person and you have all the documentation that's needed to process it as expedited or emergency, you can get it the same day. But if you aren't in person, they have up to 5 business days to turn it in or to approve it, if all of your documentation that's required is in.
Oh,
And
okay,
like Janice said, you will get it emergency, which means you'll get it quick. But if you don't turn in all of the required documentation, it'll just be emergency, a one-time payment, and you won't continue to get it ongoing.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So it looks like these are helpful contacts for different things.
So Janice only does SNAP benefits in Monroe County. We are, our Livingston County person is not there. He's gone. We're looking for a replacement. So in the meantime, I cover Livingston County, and I also do other public benefits. So that would be HEAP, temporary assistance right now,
Okay,
and things like that. So if people have questions about public benefits, or they want to apply for SNAP and other public benefits, then they can contact me.
okay.
How about the SSI application?
We don't do SSI applications. That's another agency in our building. For Social Security benefits, period, we only do overpayments.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. I stepped on Janice's toes a lot, so I apologize.
nope, I'm fine. That's it. Hannah, this is my learning curve. This is my first presentation, so bear with me.
All right, no worries. That's totally fine.
So
Is there any other-
I was gonna say one more thing is a lot of times people aren't sure if they're eligible. Let me turn my camera back on. A lot of people aren't sure if they're eligible for SNAP. So even if they're not sure, they can just give us a call and do a quick budget, and there's no obligation to apply.
Okay,
Pretty quick too.
Neat. Yeah, it seems like if you guys do this every day, you're probably like
Yeah.
can tell
And
pretty
if you need-
quickly.
If you just have questions about your budgeting too, again, DHS makes mistakes, so it's good to call Janice and just say, hey, can you just check to see if I'm receiving the right amount? And if you don't report changes in your household and your income is dropped, then you're actually cheating yourself because you could be getting more. So that's why it's important to report changes, not for just to prevent fraud, but just because you might be missing out on an additional benefit.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to, does everybody have the contacts written down that you need or want? I'm just gonna stop the share. I'll start again if anybody needs it.